It is officially that week. Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan, Ohio State, whichever team you want to say first, it's your time now. It is a one-game season. Thought it might be this way when we got together in August and started talking about what the season could hold for us when it comes to the college football playoff in the Big Ten. It is, in fact, that time. These teams are both undefeated. These teams are both, I believe, college football playoff caliber. The way this thing is looking, I don't think it's a situation like last year where you get two Big Ten teams in. I could be wrong. We'll see what happens as we go forward now. But this game likely in Ann Arbor for the Big Ten championship, if you feel good about your chances against Iowa, and likely for a college football playoff spot. A one-game season. So we're going to predict this game on Tuesday, but I wanted to just kind of take an assessment of the lay of the land right now when it comes to Michigan and Ohio State. And where these teams sit right now, kind of the stakes around the game for them individually, kind of some questions I have going into this game, and we'll talk about it right now. So first things first, make sure you're subscribed. Like I said, we'll have a pick for you in this game here Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern on the live show. Okay, so the hard count will be live at that time. We'll have our pick for you in this game. Do not miss it. We want y'all dialed in. Appreciate y'all in advance for that. Also, follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at JD Piquel. Let me know who you think is winning this game. Let me know your keys to the game, too. Again, Instagram, Twitter, at JD Piquel. Get at me on there. Excited to hear from y'all. The moment in this game itself, the situation is very unique for a number of reasons, a lot of which have to do with Michigan off the field. Like, let's be real here. If Michigan wins the game, we're saying, well, hey, sign stealing never mattered. Connor who? Stoggins what? All that talk around sign stealing, that just gets, deleted from the hard drive. Or at least you'd have a pretty good argument to delete it from the hard drive of your memory when it comes to this whole thought process. Now, the head coach in this game, though, it's not going to be Jim Harbaugh. It's going to be Sharon Moore. How does he handle that? How does he handle the bigness of this game? Because Sharon Moore, as good as he's been as the acting head coach for Michigan, this will be a completely different planet. This will be a completely different kind of game. And he understands that. He's been a part of this game. But how does he handle the moment? Because there will be a spot in this game where you need a call from Sharon Moore, whether it's a decision to go for it on fourth down, whether it's a two-point conversion that you need to have your best play dialed up. Like there's going to be a big-time head coaching call from Sharon Moore in this game. How does he handle that? Because just what I said about if they win this game, you kind of forget about the sign stealing stuff, or you at least have a good excuse to. If they lose this game, people are going to point to that sign stealing stuff and say, that's why Michigan was good. I'm not here to agree with that or disagree with that. I'm just telling you that's what hangs in the balance if you're Michigan. Now, for Ohio State, the narrative and pressure around this is twofold. The first of which being, well, they're 0-2 the last two tries. It's not okay. That's unacceptable. After dominating this rivalry for the most part the last couple of years and then going 0-2 in your last two tries, like, people are unhappy with Ryan Day in that sense. Now, I don't think you're unhappy with Ryan Day as a whole. I don't think you say Ryan Day is fired if they lose to Michigan. Like, that to me is just completely irresponsible to even talk about. So we're not going to engage in that. But I would also say this, without Jim Harbaugh on the sideline, and Andy Staples talked about this in a one-off video on this channel, and he hit it on the head, like, it's a lose-lose if you're Ryan Day. Because if Jim Harbaugh was on the sideline and you lost to him, well, it's like, well, hey, you lost to Jim Harbaugh. Obviously, that's a loss. If you beat Sharon Moore, it's like, well, you beat him without Jim Harbaugh on the sideline, right? What's up with that? But if you beat Sharon Moore, or rather, sorry, I'll rephrase that. If you beat Michigan with Sharon Moore on the sideline, it feels like, well, you didn't do it with Jim Harbaugh there. You didn't beat the final boss. If you lose to them, you say, you lost to Sharon Moore? You lost to the guy who wasn't actually even their head coach? What are we doing here? So again, I don't think it's really fair for Ohio State. At the end of the day, like, you handle business. You go to the college football playoff. You say, we beat y'all at your place. It is what it is. Like, I think that's the conversation you would have if you're Ohio State. But I'm just saying, like, that whole thought around this thing adds a little more pressure to where Ryan Day is right now. I don't think that's fair. I think at the end of the day, you play the cards you're dealt if you're Ohio State and you go win with them. To the victors go the spoils. And so for Ohio State, like, if they win this game, we're going to talk about them like they are the big dog in the conference, because they would be after the last couple of years and the way those things went. Big questions in this game. I got a few of them. There were some moments now in that game for Michigan against Maryland where Taulia Tagovailoa, as much variance as he has with his bad throws, there were some good throws he made. There was some times where he looked pretty dynamic, spreading the ball around, and I was like, man, there is I think some opportunity with the playmakers that Ohio State has against this Michigan defense. Is Kyle McCord good enough to take advantage? And I'm not just talking about like, can he get the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr.? Because we all know 18, like, that's your guy. You feed 18 until he can't eat anymore, until he's full and then some. Like, you go by 18 in this game. No way around it. Marvin Harrison Jr., best player in the country, feed him. But what happens if, let's just say he's out for a play or he's, getting double covered and you can't get the ball to him? I'm not so much worried about can other skill players for Ohio State win. I'm talking about can Kyle McCord spray the ball around the field. I think he has the ability to. I'm asking if he's going to be able to do that in this game. That's going to be crucial because if you're able to just key on Marvin Harrison Jr. and that's the way that you get down defensively for Michigan, like that puts some pressure on Kyle McCord. And I wonder how he responds in that kind of spot. Now, in the same way, for J.J. McCarthy, I think he's had a lot of success this year, and I don't think that's fake. Like, went over 250 yards 4 times this year. He went over 250 yards twice last year during the regular season. So I think he's the real deal. But the way that Michigan operates offensively, so much of what they've done with that pass game has been like the counterpunch. Like haymaker, haymaker, haymaker is power, inside zone, get downhill, run the football, Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, and then you throw the ball off that. Is there a situation now where Ohio State defensively, as tough as they've been this year, forces Michigan into some obvious passing downs? And it's no longer counterpunches the pass game. It's the, hey, that's the fastball now for us. That's now plan A. J.J. McCarthy, you got to go win us this football game because the run game has been a stalemate for us up front because of guys like JT Tuimoloau and Jack Sawyer and Tommy Eichenberg. It sounds like we'll be back for this game. Like, all those pieces fit together to, I think, put some more pressure on J.J. McCarthy. Can he be that guy to be the differentiating factor? I think he can be. Is he, though? Obviously, in a big game like this, you need good quarterback play. J.J. McCarthy was great last year. I'm excited to see what he does for an encore. We talked about it in a previous video already with these two teams as well, but like, it's no secret what their fastball is, what their go-to is. Marvin Harrison Jr., like, this is the game where you have the Heisman moment. Because one, you have the stage. The entire country is watching you right now. If you're 18, this is your chance to make a splash, make a statement. You have 3 touchdowns in this game at Michigan. Your team beats Michigan. Like, okay, I think you've done all you can do when it comes to the Heisman race. Let the cards fall where they may. Also, like Ohio State, you may need that from him with how good Michigan is defensively and how much they may put pressure on Kyle McCord and try and speed up the shot clock. Like, it might take a game where 18's got to take over again. I say again because he took over in that game against Penn State as he has other times this year. It might take that from 18. Does he do it? I don't know. We'll see. But it's one of the big questions I have, and I think it'll have a very, very big impact on this game. And the same thing with Michigan. Like, I don't wonder if they're going to try and run the football, as do you. Like, we kind of know they're going to bring that to the table. But the last couple of years, the margin of advantage for them up front has been so sizable, especially in that second half. Like, that's how they've won the last couple of games against Ohio State. Our big people up front in the fourth quarter, they wear you down. That's it. Is that same margin of advantage there? Because if it's not, this game could get interesting. And we could have a really good game in the fourth quarter. Because I think Ohio State, with what they have personnel-wise and the way they're better in their defensive structure this year and more settled into their defense under Jim Knowles, like, I think Ohio State is going to really make it a point to not get beat that way. So they've gotten beat the last 2 years the same fashion, I promise you. Everything they did this past offseason. We talked to Ryan Day in the offseason. He said, our guys know what it is. It's beat Michigan. We don't have to talk about the standard here. We know what it is. We haven't reached it the last couple of years. So let's go. I can't wait for that matchup, man. Now, games like this, I think X factors always have a big impact. And there's 2 of them I want to talk about here, one for each side. And Travion Henderson, he wasn't available in this game last year. We were in Columbus, and I believe he was in street clothes, actually, when we saw them in this game. I don't think he was even available in that sense. Like, he wasn't even dressed out. He has been a spark plug for this offense when he's been available this year. And he has been the last couple of games. Like, having him back has added another layer of explosivity to this offense. You'll need that against Michigan because the last thing you want to be against Michigan is one-dimensional. if our one go-to is Marvin Harrison Jr. or no matter what, like draft day style, Marvin Harrison Jr., no matter what, that would be a concern for me. Travion Henderson getting downhill, being that jitterbug in space, whether he's a check down, whether you're getting the ball to him outside zone, like he adds another thing you got to worry about if you're Michigan. So his effectiveness is going to be crucial in this game, and I'm excited to see what he does in Ann Arbor. Now, Kenneth Grant, 340 pounds, 6'3", havoc wreaker in the middle of that defense. Same thing I just said for Ohio State trying to be two-dimensional. Kenneth Grant's the reason why you would be one-dimensional. He's the one that could speed up that shot clock on Kyle McCord and kind of plug up those inside runs against Ohio State. So, I mean, just what he's going to do in this game, his presence being felt, will obviously have a massive impact just by nature of his size, by the number of blocks he demands, by the ghosts he can cause you to see, by the plays he creates for other people, by his size. Like he's an enforcer. Watch him this game. You can't miss him. In the middle of that defense, he'll be a problem. Both those guys I expect to have a massive impact in a number of ways, but especially in terms of what they do, adding dimensions to Ohio State's offense or taking away dimensions from Ohio State's offense. So bottom line, we'll have our pick for you in this one, but I cannot wait. This game is arguably the biggest of the college football season. It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be, worth every single penny you pay if you're going to the game or whatever you're paying for YouTube TV or however you're watching. Like, you get the whole seat, only need the edge. Give you our pick Tuesday, man. I can't wait. Make sure you subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JD Piquel. Hey, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.